So you this is like a very, very good, this guy. But this is a fake one, fake interface. Okay. Once you input it, actually the data, the username and password will pass to the admin database link to Zhihai, actually as other province in China. However, the link is submitted to the China government site. Don't be worried, don't be worried. Interesting findings. I go to there and get it, the link, and find it in, wow, yeah, this is Chinese government website. Okay, 611.130.101 and 40. Yeah, this is Chinese government website, one of the province website. Actually, they are the victim. I used the Monkeywrench and put it there and found that they have a loss of the injected iframes. Many, you bet? Full of iframes injected. Then actually they are victim. Yeah. They find that a lot of links of script are injected to the site, and actually they don't know about it. And this is an attack path, like to build a QQ. You trace the victim to enter in the username password, submit to the site to the infected websites from the China government, and then at the same time visit the website. You visit the website here. You get the exploit as a gift for you then, right? So there's a two path. One is QQ, and you just go to that site. Then you will both get that exploit. And also target, much more the attacker's target is for the China government. Because most of the time, because the security controls and hardening varies from different provinces government in China. They need some help actually. Then the fourth one is the recent fresh zero-day attack. I'm thankful to Wing. Wing has presented. Wing is here? No, should be catched by the press, right? Then the company Obfuscation team has a good research team. They could abroad and write it down about such kind of injection. Actually, from here, through the secret injection, they spread out the script, inject to the website, and then get a link here, the page. But once we got the website there, then when you visit it, maybe inject maybe a government site, then they will you run the payer of the fresh payers and exploit your fresh payer vulnerability. At the same time, the shellcode, the script here in IE.html will download a shellcode loaders and will get the shellcode and also provide a heap space against your IE browser. So once you exploit it, you could get the dropper. The dropper is download another second stage malware or payload and get the password stealer, but you don't know what's the password stealer for, so you get a command here, and a command and say, oh, I would like to steal this game account, online accounts, then very systematic, organized it. Interesting part is, in the IE.html, I got this one, Anhey. Anhey is a Mandarin, that means darkness. Then again I search it. Anhey, wow. Here, Anhey is a workshop, okay, darkness workshop. Latest web Trojan generator, Trojan course, Trojan encoding, fresh Trojan. Lots of choices for you guys like that. You could go there here if you got internet. It's alive. It's free. Open source, no source. Open executable, use a binary to be word, man. Then it's the interface, pick your choice. Pick your favorite exploit, man. Here, favorite exploit like a supermarket. Exploit supermarket, here. Then source code, you got a source code, you can see but cannot change, sorry. And also like after obfuscation code, the script. And also this is anti-debugging, but here is to bypass the 360 because you find me show you this 360 is a major antivirus software in China. 360, okay. And once you click it, here, then you will generate these files. Then you get a heap space. Then Colin will talk about shellcode.
All right, so like we were saying, or Anthony was saying earlier, is that they have, the current generation runs a lot of scripts, a lot of, script kiddies in a sense. And so you see actually in the shellcode is very simplistic. It's actually just a dropper in all cases. It'll just pull down from this website here. And the interesting thing about the shellcode, so this first shellcode we analyzed several samples to kind of get a feel for sort of the evolution of the shellcode as it goes through and as to what they're actually targeting and how they're trying to target it. What's interesting about this one, we have a size here, it's 814 after the heap spray and actually gets evaluated. Very simplistic. It's unobfuscated once you get past the actual Java heap spray. So in the actual shellcode, there's nothing further that you have to deobfuscate. And and you can also see kind of trouble here where they're padding. So let's see. So in here, you input the site that you actually want to download your dropper from. And so this is always unknown. So they program reasonably well, and they always put it at the bottom of the shellcode. Now in this particular example, and this is the IE7 XML overflow, and they have a lot of spacing at the end of it, which doesn't make a lot of sense. There's no point for this. These are more or less no-op instructions, but there's no need for them at the end here. But this is kind of where it goes. The next one is the Aurora exploit, which is very much the stock Aurora exploit that you see all over the web. And again, it's more simple now. They've actually optimized the shellcode itself. It's now only 612 bytes. You don't have this random padding of spaces at the end of the actual download link. And then again, it's just a simple dropper. It downloads to c.exe and runs it. I was going to show some actual disassembly here, but there's almost no point. You can look at just the hex dump of the shellcode and know precisely what it does, which is strange. They go to the simplistic effort of first making the obfuscated JavaScript, and then once it's actually running in shellcode, it's just simple. And then we get to a new version. Now this is just their shellcode generator, which generates a blob of nice Unicode escaped. It's now 1,437 bytes in size. A little more functionality here. We're getting a little bigger. And it's no longer in clear text. So our actual download string at the end, it's in the same place, which is great because you can easily find the XOR key. And then in the shellcode itself, it actually has an unXORing stub that first executes and then unXORs the rest of the shellcode in memory, which will give you the actual download link. And so you can actually watch the progression and sophistication of their shellcode as it goes along. From the jump from the IE7 vulnerability to Aurora is fairly simplistic. There's just optimization going on. And then within less than a year between Aurora to the shellcode generator, which popped up on their website, the sophistication grows rapidly. And so maybe this is new people coming on, new techniques that they're learning. But it's even further sophistication. Inside of the shellcode itself, it has tons of calls that re-enable and recreate shell or strings inside of the shellcode itself. So not only do they first XOR the entire thing, they then have individual pieces that reconstruct all of the strings inside of the shellcode. So they've now gone to 3 layers of obfuscation even in their shellcode itself. And so this leap of sophistication keeps rising. And this is, again, completely designed towards script kiddie type use, where you download the simple tool, click a button, put it up on your website and serve it up to everyone. So we're just going to kind of throw some examples of some of the generated payloads, just the JavaScript and the heap spray, so you can see some good examples of kind of how they go about doing stuff. It's the usual stuff. Check your target, pass in the exploit that you want to give. Simple sort of things. Now, some of the fun ones here is they're highly recognizable. All their heap sprays look like this. This is actually they always have cute so Anhey became QQ or cute?
Yeah, QQQ became Anhey.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually hearkening back to their origins, I suppose. But in here is actually their, they are advertising over and over and over again. As Anthony says here, it's good business in China, yes. So
I love it.
They, of course, the shellcode go through and they replace all of this with %u and it becomes a Unicode decryption. But it's strange that all of their, you can watch here, all of their exploits, all their heap sprays look like this. All of them. all of them. So here's a fun one.
Yeah, actually, the most interesting in the shellcode, you'll find it in Chinese, right? Warning, do not edit the shellcode with Notepad. Otherwise, it could not be executed.
So
I have not seen such a warning. You write the shellcode with warning cannot be opened with Notepad. This is my first time to see it. Yeah. It's very good.
So again, this is just showing how their heap sprays are done, and this is to give you a good idea of how, or steps forward that you could do for identifying these things in the wild, like when you're actually getting hit, or if you're on an incident response and you need to understand where you hit with such a malware type attack. So here's a fun one. I'll let Anthony explain the meaning of Kaba here. So
Kaba is Kaspersky. Actually, in Chinese is Kaba. Actually, in Chinese, Kaspersky is Kaba CK Kaspersky. But Kaba is like an abbreviation of Kaspersky software. So you find the shellcode is a lot of Kaba. He hates Kaba a lot.
He either hates it, or this is also possibly a technique. Someone probably clicked the avoid Kaspersky, and so then they put in these keywords so that maybe Kaspersky won't flag on them because it thinks it's Kaspersky.
Give a shout to HD.
Yeah, we have a nice shout here. They follow research here, so we should be following research there. Okay.
That's you.
Yep. Actually, for the Chinese malware goals is compromise game accounts credentials to get the money, and also generator is free for people to try. Most of the time, you are the victim tomorrow, and you will be the attacker after a week because you could get the money after spreading out the Trojans. So this is kind of the sales leveling is very systematic and business oriented.
All right, so we dug a little deeper into the offerings by this organization, Anhey, and there's like 30 RAR files of different exploit generators, and there's some interesting things. They actually provide like a little advertisement in the RAR so that you know like where you're getting it from and who to contact on QQ if you need technical support or I don't know. The other interesting thing is, things like the Flash O-Day and IE O-Day. If you look at the dates on the inside the RAR for the executables, often they're before they're published here in the US. So by the time we find out that there's a vulnerability or an exploit in something, they've already got like a canned exploit generator that's available on the web that anybody can download and run. So that's kind of cool. This is just a list of the different exploits that we downloaded from this site. So a lot of these are like pre-disclosure O-Day generators. So I think we compared something like 20 exploit generators from this particular site. And all of them had this DLL, which we didn't really know what it was. And almost every single one uses the same DLL. They all load it. And there's one exploit that's a different version. It's like an older version. So one thing that we see is that over the course of a year, they use a standardized DLL with all of their exploit generators. So that's interesting. And we took a deeper look at just the resources, just some simple analysis to try to get a feel for this. And so the other cool thing that these guys do is they develop their software almost like it's a commercial product. So they add resources with version numbers, who the team is that developed it. I got copyright, which is kind of funny because I don't think they have copyright in China.
I can't believe it, man.
Yeah. But the nice thing is every time you find one of these samples out there, you just have to look at the resources and you'll know right away where it came from. Like they advertise heavily where the tools are coming from. And so there's some information here about the DLL itself that everybody's using. It's from this site called Skin++. So I did some comparison since when we started we weren't exactly sure what that file was, to try to get a feel for what's different between the two, since almost all of them use one and just one uses the other. And really they're really similar. There's only just a small number of functions that have changed. We did some bin diffing on this and they're essentially the same thing. One's just an older version, they've added some stuff. And it turns out by reverse engineering this, we discovered that literally all those all the screenshots that Anthony showed, they're all skinned with the same DLL. The DLL handles the whole graphical interface. So we went and checked out the site because we're like, okay, is there a malware company that builds GUIs for exploit generators or what's the deal here? No, it just turns out this is a pretty